What's going on, guys and girls? I hope you're all doing well today. And we're back here with Chapter a Day Bible Study. Today we're going to be looking at Genesis 9. So let's get right into the reading. Covenant of the Rainbow. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth. The fear of you and the terror of you will be on every beast of the earth and on every bird of the sky, with everything that creeps on the ground. And all the fish of the sea into your hand they are given. Every moving thing that is alive shall be food for you. I give all to you, as I gave the green plant. Only you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. Surely I will require your lifeblood. From every beast I will require it, and from every man's brother I will require the life of man. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed. For in the image of God he made man. As for you, be fruitful and multiply, populate the earth abundantly, and multiply in it. Then God spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying, Now behold, I myself do establish my covenant with you, and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you. Of all that comes out of the ark, even every beast of the earth, I establish my covenant with you, and all flesh shall never again be cut off by the water of the flood. Neither shall there again be a flood to destroy the earth. God said, This is the sign of the covenant which I am making between me and you and every living creature that is with you, for all successive generations. I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a sign of a covenant between me and the earth. It shall come about, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow will be seen in the cloud, and I will remember my covenant which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And never again shall the water become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the cloud, then I will look upon it to remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. And God said to Noah, This is a sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. Now the sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. These were the sons of Noah, and from these the whole earth was populated. Then Noah began farming and planted a vineyard. He drank of the wine and became drunk, and uncovered himself inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders, and walked backward and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were turned away, so they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah awoke from his wine, he knew what his youngest son had done to him. So he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants. He shall be to his brothers. He also said, Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. Noah lived 350 years after the flood, so all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. What is going on, guys? I hope you all enjoyed the reading of Genesis 9. Now let's look at the points of emphasis. So our first point, God tells Noah and his sons that they will be rulers over all the animals. So we still kind of see this today. You can see most animals are pretty skittish. They won't really bother you if you don't bother them. I mean, there's exceptions to that. For instance, if like a tiger's hungry, he's probably going to attack you if you're standing out in the middle of an African plain. But for the most part, you leave an animal alone, they'll leave you alone. And, if you're driving in a car, a deer's most likely going to get out of the way. Now, it doesn't always happen, unfortunately. My dad's hit, I think, 5 or 6 deer. And so that's not good. But, for the most part, animals will leave you alone and get out of your way, and they won't bother you. So we still kind of see this point portrayed today. God told Noah and his sons early in this chapter that they will be the rulers over all the animals. So the next point, every living thing was good to eat if the blood was drained. So if you ever heard about like kosher food and so forth, this is what that means. He says that every living thing was good to eat, meaning that all animals were fine to eat as long as they didn't eat the blood. So if you've ever gotten like ground beef and then you've put it in your fridge and for about 2 days or so, you just let it sit idle for 2 days, you can see that the blood goes to the bottom of whatever it's sitting in, if it's a tray or whatever. And you can see that when you first buy it, it's very nice and red. And if you just let it sit, it'll become gray and doesn't look quite as fresh. So that means the blood has drained from it. So some people think it's not quite as good once the blood is drained or whatever, but this was God's law that you had to drain the blood. So he tells Noah and his sons that, and they seem to abide by it. Point number 3, God establishes a covenant with the earth. So his covenant with the earth was that he was never going to destroy the earth again with a flood. And we see this portrayed when we see a rainbow, and that's God's promise. In the text, it's referred to as a bow. So just if you guys didn't know what he's talking about, it means we call it a rainbow today. It says, what I thought was interesting is in the text it says that God looks, or he said, God speaking, and he says, I will look on the rainbow to reestablish my covenant with the earth. So sort of to remind himself of his covenant with the earth. And I think that's kind of interesting because you're looking at the rainbow and God's looking at the rainbow at the same time, and it's just kind of nice, sort of intimate. It's just something to think about. As you're looking at the rainbow, God's probably looking at it as well. So I just thought that was interesting. Anyway, the next point, Noah becomes drunk. So here we have kind of a side story in the chapter. Noah becomes drunk. He's naked in his tent. Ham walks into the tent, sees Noah's drunk, kind of dishonors him by telling Shem and Japheth, and sort of we get the impression that's like mockingly or jokingly and sort of disregarding Noah's prominence or importance. I mean, Noah was pretty much the leader of the world at that point. He was pretty much the president, if we wanted to relate it to today's terms. Now, the president isn't the leader of the world, so I'm saying he's the leader of the United States, but Noah's pretty much the guy to go to in the world right now. So to disrespect him is, it's not just like disrespecting your little brother or something. It's a pretty big offense. So that leads us into our next point. Canaan is cursed. Now you might say, why Canaan? Canaan didn't do anything. It was Ham that did it. Well, Canaan was Ham's son, and so Canaan's line was kind of cursed. And we see later that the Canaanites, were pretty evil people. So it kind of all falls into place, and that's just another interesting point to point out. Let's look at the next slide. So act honorably and you will be rewarded. So this kind of goes with what we were just talking about Shem and Japheth. Shem and Japheth go in and cover their father very honorably without him knowing. They didn't look. They walked in backwards. I mean, that's about as honorably as you can get. If it was me, I probably would have just like thrown a blanket in the tent without looking and just like hope it kind of landed on my dad. But they did it very honorably, and they were rewarded. Later in the chapter, we see that Noah says, "Let Canaan be the servant to Shem and Japheth," and so Noah found much favor in Shem and Japheth's actions. So this has happened to me numerous times in my life. I'll just do something that's kind of, I don't really think much about it. I know to do the right thing. It's not a big deal. Like one time I remember I was late for a class, and it was like a Christian class because I'm homeschooled, and it was a class with other homeschoolers, so we had to drive from a very far distance. We were late anyways. It's besides the point. And we were standing, myself and a friend were standing outside the door waiting to get into this class. And then I said, stop, real quick, because they were praying. And the teacher, after she had finished praying, we walked in, and the teacher acknowledged that and said thank you. And it's just things like that just make kind of a big difference in your life. I still remember that. It wasn't a big deal at all, but just acting honorably, you're usually rewarded, whether it be a thank you or whether it be money or whatever it is. You just usually just act honorably, and you shouldn't act honorably so that you will be rewarded, but you should just act honorably, and whatever reward comes to you, be grateful for that reward. But don't act honorably so that you will get a reward. Just act honorably, and usually a reward will come with that, no matter how small. So that's just something to point out. I thank you guys all for watching. I'll be back here with Genesis 10 tomorrow, and I'll see you all later.